3 days in a row, we've had a really nice, solid market. A lot of that has to do with that trade deal, U.S., Canada, Mexico. And when you dig into that, the auto industry and agriculture have pretty much been sucking all the oxygen out of the trade deal room. But one sector also getting a shot in the arm, the drug makers. Usmca, this deal, protects biologic drugs from generic competition for at least 10 years, compared to the current protection of 8 years in Canada and just 5 years in Mexico. So if you don't know what biologics are, they come from living organisms and they are given via injection. Some names you may have heard of: Enbrel, Humira, Rituxan, Keytruda. Let's bring in the man who spent his entire life developing cutting-edge, life-saving drug therapies. Former ImClone Systems CEO and founder of Cadman and Mira Drug Therapy in a Fox Business exclusive, Dr. Sam Waksal. He's also a fellow at the Alzheimer's Disease Research Institute at Weill Cornell. Good to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
When you look at this trade deal and you saw the part about the pharmas, what was your gut reaction?
Well, America really subsidizes the world's our pharma industries, and what this did was keep biosimilars intact for 2 extra years in Canada and 5 extra years in Mexico. So, in another way, kept the patented products intact. So there is no biosimilar competition for an extra period of time in both of those countries. That's a big deal for America.
It's a big deal for somebody like you who has worked so hard to develop drugs. You've used your instinct and your education and all of your sweat equity. So why hand it over after just 5 years? I get that. So that somebody can just make it and steal it. But I have to say, Doctor, the worry comes with the cost of all of these, that if these are patent protected for so long, that means the cost remains high, doesn't it?
It does mean the cost remains high, but there's a lot of pressure in America as well as the rest of the world on the pricing of drugs. And in America, part of that's been not the pharmaceutical industry, not the biotech industry, but rather because of, for example, pharmacy benefit managers, who I believe are responsible for at least 30% of those pricing increases that we see. So there will be pressure on drug pricing. There is pressure on drug pricing, and it'll be pushed in a positive way.
How much hope did you get from the FDA and the new and accelerated way that they are getting generics to market? President Trump had come out and said that some of the pharmaceuticals are getting away with murder because they price their drugs so high. We just had Dr. Scott Gottlieb, the head of the FDA, on and asked him about this new sort of sped-up process. Here's what he said, and then I'll have you respond.
Well, there's a lot of ways, I think, that if we bring better science into the process, we can modernize that process. Some of these things have been in development for a very long time at the agency. We're trying to accelerate that.
Talking about EpiPens and the Mylan situation, but how do you feel about the FDA and its new way of keeping things safe, but hurrying up the process of getting things to market that are less expensive?
Scott Gottlieb's been one of the great additions to our government. He is an unbelievable commissioner of the FDA, and he's working in multiple areas, both with patented products, drugs that are innovative and novel in the field of gene therapy, in the field of biologics, in the field of medicines, which are being made for orphan diseases, and he's moving those forward. Scott's also moving generics forward much more quickly.
Yeah.
But doing it intelligently and making sure that these drugs are safe for patients in America.
I want to talk about China. So we've got the Canada-Mexico trade deal out of the way, and it is beneficial to pharma. Right now, there's such tension. There's simmering anger between the two countries. It's he said, and we don't see a real coming together in the future, at least in the near future. However, you're dealing with the Chinese. What are you working with them on? And do you get a sense that at some point we'll see a resolution between the two countries?
Well, I've always dealt with Chinese companies and Japanese companies in the past. The American biotech industry is probably one of the last strongholds of innovation in America. And that's something that doesn't exist in the rest of the world. really doesn't. And the Chinese need American biotech. So I don't believe that our industry is going to be affected in the same way as some of the other ones because of tariffs. And I also have seen that Chinese companies want to invest in American biotech badly.
Had 2 Americans winning Nobel Prizes. One was in chemistry, Francis Arnold, the George P. Smith Nobel Prize for Medicine. J.P. Allison does, it proves that America is still very much on top, I would imagine, at least right there at the top. You're working on Alzheimer's therapies. Please tell me you're close to something.
Well, people like Greg Petsko and Scott Small in New York City, one at Cornell and one at Columbia, are 2 of the smartest guys working in Alzheimer's right now and changing the paradigm for what's being worked on. And I am working on that with them. And I think we've made some major breakthroughs. And it's important because, as you know, we're spending about $200 billion a year in the United States right now on just taking care of Alzheimer's patients. By the middle of the next decade, that number is probably going to be closer to $1 trillion. It would bankrupt America if we don't find something, and I think we will. So I think that's an exciting thing. I also think that the Nobel Prizes in immuno-oncology were exciting. I was upset that guys like Gordon Freeman at Harvard didn't take part, or Jeff Bluestone didn't take part. But those were technologies that have changed the way we treat cancer in America. We're responsible for Keytruda and Opdivo.
Good for you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sam Waksal.
It's a great pleasure to be here.
You know what a history you've had, from controversy to continuing to really fight and look forward to the future. Keep us posted, especially on the Alzheimer's issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.